We live in a new age, and it's time for us to upgrade our tinfoil hats. Operation Tinfoil is a freedom-focused small business and trusted sponsor of this show. Their super comfortable new line of beanies and baseball caps will not only crown your skull in style, but each of these dome defenders is lined with a silver mesh that blocks up to 99% of EMF radiation from cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and yes, even 5G. We don't know what EMF radiation does to the brain long term, but neither do they, so don't be their guinea pig and don't wait around to find out. Get your stylish tinfoil hat of the future today at gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Again, that's gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Well. Remember when I said that we would do we're taking a bit of a break from the podcast, but we'll come back and do it whenever there's news that's just so pressing that we have to talk about it. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging, leave you high and dry on the really crucial, important things that you need to know about in the world. And so here we are to talk about whether or not Barack Obama is gay. Because there's also another stipulation. If it's something that I think will be really fun to talk about, that also. I'm the person who gets to decide what is the most crucial information that is delivered to you on a semi-weekly basis. We are here, of course, with Dave the Casey. Dave, how are you, sir?
What's up, man? I'm excited to be here. I'm glad there was reason enough to make it happen. Missed you.
I mean, barely. It just crossed the threshold of acceptability for important enough. But we're talking about other things too. We're talking about God-destroying Burning Man festival with a flood that he said he would never do again. And we're talking about COVID is back. We're talking about microchips. Of course, they're always in the news. And Barack Obama and plenty more. There's also a new challenger entering the race of LP president. Have you heard, Dave?
I have, man. Yeah, the Nihilist Caucus is very excited about it.
I bet. We'll get into him more later. Not like I'm not as into him as he seems to be into himself and his own. Anyway, we'll talk about all the grossness of the latest libertarian candidate later on in the show. But go out, share the show with your friends. Let's just have a good time together and get down to the real important things in life. Go out, share the show with your friends, and let's get weird.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he really means that.
Half a stop before they do what I call activist.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves were possessing weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda.
Handle the truth! I remember that with that smoke! We are still here!
We have to say yes to socialism.
Imagine what you know tomorrow. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah, it is indeed a big club, and you're not in it, but you're in this one with the system is down with me and Dave Casey. Oh, we switch back over to here because we got to get the credits in. You're in this club. You are in the worst, most, the least beneficial club that you could possibly be in lately, because it's been few and far between that we've been doing these. But today is a very important day, as was already mentioned. I do have to first and foremost thank my favorite of all the sponsors, which are all of you guys in the Downers Club. People like Ben Weir, Melanie Roberts, Kimberly Owens, Steve Something, Justin Savoy, Jason, Bonnie, Matthew Walrus, Zach, Danielle, Gid Kid, Alex, Magoo, Break the Bell, Heffalum Swoozles. You know, when I get down halfway through, I feel like I'm being unfair and discriminatory against the newcomers whose names I miss because they're not like ingrained in my brain from seeing them over and over again. So let's go back up to the top. Ben Weir, Melanie Roberts, Kimberly Owen, Brian Kunkowski, Stephen McKnight, Zinger Tattoo, Grumpy Gnome, RJJC. Okay, the rest of you guys I've said a million times. So if you want to get your name on that list and probably have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/thesystemIsdown and become a member of the cult here and support this thing. Keep it going. Even though we don't do as regular of shows as we used to, there's still content coming out, and none of it do I get paid for. So if you like the random nonsense and you like the fun stuff, there's plenty more of it to come. It's not always a podcast, but if you support it, go support it. And you will get bonus content, including an after-party day where we will be digging deep into Chris Franz's sack and his only Franz. As was also mentioned, I am here with my man, my boyfriend, Dave Casey. Dave,
What's happening?
what's new down or over in the great state of Delaware, Dave? Anything new on the podcast or in the hive of scum and villainy that is Delaware?
Man. So no, nothing new on the Delaware front. The podcast, however, is coming back next week for 9/11, man. I couldn't miss that. You know what I mean? I'm going to try not. It's been 22 years. I'm going to try not to harp on that specifically too much, but I'm not going to miss the day. So presidential candidate and cyberbullying victim of this show, Josh Smith, will be
nice.
on the show on next Monday night. Yeah, I promised it would be more of a fluff piece on this one. You know, an expose. You kind of tell me about your. Yeah, I'm not like these other guys.
Dave.
I won't.
Just gonna prop him up. Just gonna stroke
I'm
him.
gonna prop him up. Exactly. You know, everybody, bro, that comes on my show, at least for the first time, you know, I'm fans of them or friends.
Dave
with
saves
them,
all of his
so-
assholery for over here. It's like this
right.
is the shield that he hides behind. This in Twitter places where he
Yes.
does like you switch on something different when you're face to face on my show than when you're on you're face to face on your show. Because yours, you have to take responsibility that it is your show that people aren't liking. Over here, you're like, they just don't like Dan. If I'm a dick, it's fine.
Dude, everything you just said is 100% true,
Good.
and I apply it to. That's absolutely right. So I do appreciate the opportunity always.
Absolutely, and hopefully your assholery will come in handy if we ever get the latest presidential candidate on the show for a grilling, unless he is, of course, a coward, as many presidential candidates are these days. We'll get into that more later. But speaking of Joshua Smith, we had our the Dawn Retreat album release show on the end of last month, and Josh came out for that and hung out, and we shot a little bit of video for him, and he joined me on stage for a song even, and it was a good time just hanging out with a bro and not doing too much politicking, but a little bit of politicking, mostly just hanging out and enjoying music together. Was a blast. And then he came home and of course crashed on my couch because that's what couch surfers do. And actually, Josh, he's been labeled a couch surfer over the years in a defamatory way, and so he's kind of owned that and made it his thing. His show was Couch Streams for a while. I don't know if it still is, but he not only crashed on my couch, but while we were at the show, there were some couches in the back. He spent an awful lot of time on those couches to the point I could share the video. I have it on my phone, but Josh actually, while we were loading up, fell asleep on one of those couches. He's just so desperate to sleep on any couch that he can find that he will pass out after a show, even on a couch that is there.
Yeah,
and
bro. He's on dad time, bro. You know what it's like having 14 kids? That's fucking
Right.
crazy. Of course he needs a nap. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it was a great time. And we hung out and chatted about a lot of drama and things and fun stuff. But whatever. I'm looking forward to seeing him on your show. Let's talk news, Dave. You want to talk about the news?
Oh, man. Yeah, can't wait.
Anything, like you kind of know some of the subjects that we're talking about today. Is there anything else? Because I don't pay as much attention to the news as I used to. Anything that I should know before going into this? I forgot to put on the list. India just supposedly landed on the moon. Maybe we'll have to get into that a little bit and how realistic that footage looks. But I don't have anything pulled up for it. But is there anything that you think I might have missed that's pertinent?
Dude, we talk and we laugh about how like in a week or a couple days, like the news cycle just changes and like the story of the week is like just forgotten about like a week later. So yeah, in preparation for doing my next show for the first time in, since the late June, I think, like it was just funny. I'm going over this stuff in my head. It's like, okay, Trump has a mugshot. That's amazing. Twitter is no longer a thing. It's X now. Tucker is fired.
We're just rewriting history.
Doing a show on X, right? Obama super gay. Like these are all things that
I mean, that's not really anything different than what we already suspected or knew.
right. I think it's crazy that like now it's a story. That's funny. Even Tucker was like, "Yeah, I remember when you came out in
You're getting ahead of us,
2008."
Dave. You're getting ahead
Yeah,
of us.
sorry, but this people are acting like this isn't a big story, or if it's like, or it's some kind of like salacious, like tabloid shit. It's like no, like they're exposing themselves. But we'll talk more about that.
Yep, save it. We'll get into all the reasons why I think it is somewhat relevant that Barack Obama is gay, even though I don't really care about Barack Obama's love life. We'll get into that later. We got to talk Burning Man first because I don't know, Dave. You seem like the type who may have gone to Burning Man at one point in his life and might not be proud of it. I'm not sure.
So I've never been to Burning Man. I've never been like a Coachella festival guy. I was more of a Warped Tour Project Revolution guy.
Nice.
So no, I wouldn't go. You wouldn't catch me at that. Though, if somebody was like, "Dude, I got a ticket for Burning Man, and we're gonna pop Molly all week and fucking go out," I would be like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun. I could,
Yeah.
you could convince me to do it." But no, I didn't go. Wasn't there.
Now, after what you've seen this year, could you still be convinced to go out and pop Molly in a mud pit?
That's the thing. Yeah, man. I'm past that age where like, no, I'm not looking to glamp even, like I'd rather stay home and be with my people and stuff. Though, to see a big burning effigy in the middle of nowhere and some light shows and stuff, I guess it'd be fun. But yeah, like for the expense and for the torment that might happen to you.
The physical expense and the mental expense.
Yeah. I'm not into it. Was there like, yeah, they got all wet and stuff. It was like a fire, like the fire festival kind of situation.
I've got some clips. Let's take a quick look at what happened this year at the Burning Man Festival. That was the wrong clip. Sorry. Let me play this one. No, that was Waterworld. This is the Burning Man Festival from this year. Sorry, that's fashion. This is actually Burning Man here, which is way less interesting and way less glamorous than either Mad Max, Waterworld, or a fashion show. Just hippies high, standing in mud, bobbing to the beat. I don't know. I mean, even like if you're into like getting trashed and having a party, fine. Whatever, you do you. But in like, it doesn't seem like they're enjoying this all that much. And I don't know. I've seen a lot of like conservative outlets like bashing on Burning Man for being this hive of degeneracy, and it probably is. But they would probably say the same thing about places like Porkfest as well. So it be what it'll be. But I do think there's an interesting irony to everybody. So the Burning Man concept is they burn this effigy to symbolize the burning of the man, the establishment, right?
Right.
And then they go out to they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go out to the middle of a dry lake bed in a desert to burn this effigy that they paid tons of money to build and construct. And then a little bit of rain, and they need to send in FEMA to bail them out. FEMA, who, if you're not aware, is the man, literally the man. So yeah, it's a little bit fun there. I also heard rumors of like, well, they were locked in, like they weren't allowed to leave at one point, which I'm confused about. But there was rumors about Ebola outbreaks or some sort of disease or something. I don't know if there's any legitimacy to it. Did you hear anything about that, Dave?
Did not. No.
I mean, would it surprise you? Of all places to revive Ebola, Burning Man seems like a good place.
Sure. No, I do. I share your kind of Schadenfreude a little bit if you're experiencing some of that for these people who, and there's something of like a microcosm of society too. It's like everything's built on a house of cards. Like it only took a little bit of the elements to destroy your whole society.
Right. It's like the Chaz, where they set up this autonomous zone and they're like, we got this, and no more police. And then the first thing they do is like, you're the cops, you and you, and I'll be the leader, and we'll shoot anybody that disagrees. Like, they immediately turn into the thing that they're pretending to, or they turn to the thing, because they still called in ambulances if there was an issue, or fire trucks and everything. Which, I mean, from a libertarian perspective, there's something to be said about our entire principle values, as well. When you get a bunch of people into a group and they're like, yes, anti-establishment, and then shit goes to shit, and they're like, well, call in the establishment and bail us out.
Yeah. I hope people take some time to reflect on this.
They won't.
But you're right. I mean, like maybe Burning Man is like, it's the original one of these. I don't know. Like Lollapalooza was like the first like festival, but like, this one's been going on for at least 20 years, right? Like maybe it's reached like the people who were youthful when they started it, maybe with pure intentions, much like the hippies, like you just turned into something else. You turned into neo-libs. And there's nothing, same thing that happened to rock and roll, man. Like it doesn't have the same punch anymore because over time, you became the establishment. You had nothing to rebel against. So yeah, what are you rebelling against? The man? You work for the man. You're going back to work for the man.
You are the man.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny.
Now, do you does your conspiracy radar go off at all, knowing that FEMA was sent in to bail them out, and also lock them in, and also rumors of Ebola?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know much about this story, so I'm not going to jump to any conclusions.
Why not, Dave? That's what the show is for.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm ready to be convinced.
I'm
ready to be convinced. Sure. And yeah, I did hear that people weren't allowed to leave. Like, that's kind of weird. So
Dave didn't limber up this morning, and he's old and doesn't want to do too many stretches just yet. We got to work him back into this.
I'll tell you. I'm always, I'm ready to entertain the flat Earth because you said it. So I'm willing to hear anything. But, yeah, I don't know. That would be weird. What are they going to do? Like, give people Ebola? Is that what you're saying? They might give people that shit while they're there?
Maybe, or if they're trying to, let's say they're trying to, I mean, I'm totally just pulling this out of my ass, but if they wanted an Ebola outbreak, they could just do one and have it be there. Nobody would be able to trace it to anything, because this is like 70,000 people all locked in a mud pit. Like, how do you trace where that came from exactly? I don't know.
That's a good call, bro.
Is it?
But they wouldn't need to. They wouldn't need to. Like, why wouldn't they do that kind of like clandestine instead of bringing in feds? That's what I would do. I would just I'd put the fucking the planes up in the right over top, and I'd airdrop some shit, cloud seed, just like, bro. I saw some footage from Woodstock of some just regular dudes in their 20s, like, yo, man, they're up there cloud and seed. What do you call it? Cloud seeding, and they're doing this shit right now to us. So,
chemtrail shit.
Yeah, they're talking about, some motherfuckers who were awake to that shit
back when hippies were based
60 years ago. Right. Yeah.
The good old days.
So, yeah, right. Of course, man, they could have put some Ebola up in that festival. Sure.
Yeah. Now, it's also funny because I don't think we talked about it, but leading up to Burning Man, going into it, there was this story of there were these climate protesters blocking the one road into the Burning Man, and so there was like miles and miles of traffic backed up in the middle of this desert, which is a safety hazard. And there was a lot of libertarian arguments online if the cops handled this correctly or not. Whatever, who cares? Cops pull up finally and pull guns on the people, arrest them, get them out of the way. There's a libertarian argument to be made on both sides of that, I think, which I don't really care to have right now because that's what Twitter is for. But to my understanding, the cops were actually they were like the native police or whatever, like the local Native American cops that are arresting climate protesters, like these rich uppity there's a line of rich uppity probably folks heading into Burning Man. You would have to be able to afford to punish yourself that much. So line of rich people are annoyed that they can't get into their debauchery festival, and climate protesters are in the way. And the Native Americans come up, and when you get to the point as climate protesters that the Native Americans are like, fucking enough, like it's probably a time for some self-reflection, maybe just a little bit. Like, I mean, we've talked a million times on the show about what are you doing, who are you helping in pissing everybody off? How does that help your movement? Even if everything that you say is true, what value does it have? And there's mowing outside. Can you hear the mower? I might have to shut a window.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Chats, let me know. Can you hear it? If you can hear it all.
It's barely a thing.
I'll shut it down. Okay, so yeah, that's Burning Man and fun times, whatever. I mean, if you put yourself at the behest of nature, if you like go out into the woods in a desolate area and you like strip off all your clothes and get really plastered and nature sets in, man, that's just got to be like a really hard high to come down from. Because like you're not just coming down and you're like, oh man, that was a rough night. You're coming down and you're like, oh man, that was a rough night. And also I'm in literally 5 inches of mud and cannot move. And no cars were able to get out. People could barely walk in the shit. So, whatever. It sucks.
Yeah, I've never seen a footage, or I've never heard of this happening in the desert, like at an event before. Yeah. So like, it probably won't stop them in the future.
Yeah.
But kind of
I imagine it's probably either like dust storms or rain. Like there's probably never a happy medium. So you would think they would plan for all these possibilities when bringing 70,000 people into the middle of nowhere. But not my problem. Anyway, 1 or 2 people died. Sorry, that sucks. Anyway, speaking of
my problem.
Speaking of people dying, we got to talk about the most deadly of all things, which, as we know, is once again COVID. Dr. Fauci is back in full force. He responds to a study that masks didn't work, and I don't know. There's a lot of. We're not going to get into too super specifics until this becomes much more of a reality, but it is worth mentioning that they're trying to bring this back in full force. And Fauci is going to be very disappointed, or I don't remember exactly the word he used, upset that people aren't planning on wearing masks. And I just call that like bonus symptoms. If it also makes Fauci upset, that doesn't talk me into wearing them. That's just like, sweet, even better. But do you think, I mean, there's a lot of chatter of whether or not this will go farther. I've spoken with people who work in the school system who are like, no, I've been assured that nothing's coming down. And, like people are fed up. There are people in my local sphere that are fed up with it, who even some people went along with it before. But I don't know, people in the local school system, I think when push comes to shove, they're going to go where the money is. I have a hard time believing it. Maybe, I hope that they prove me wrong, but do you think that people will submit to this a second time and fall for it a second time, or will this be the time where we actually say, fuck you?
Man, I want to say that lots of people woke up to this, but I will still say that the word of the decade until 2030 is liability. So like that will be the thing. If masks do come back, like we should just stop pretending like there's any governor or any mayor or any corporation that has independent thought.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that once in a while, like one it can't happen. I'm just saying like lockstep is one of those words too that just boom, like every institution, government, corporation, university on the planet snapped into we're wearing masks. We're doing
had you
these
asked them a year before,
right?
Like if this were to happen, would you go along with it? They would have all said fuck no, and then immediately they were like, absolutely, we will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's where I think it'll probably go again. You might see more of a resistance from people who are like, no, I'm not fucking doing this again. But when it comes to your local gas station or bank or restaurant, yeah, they'll all do it because they want to sell their products.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I think it depends on how much people care now vocally. And I do think people are caring vocally a lot now. With election season coming up, it makes sense for them to start trickling this back out now so that they can use it as a cudgel for their, whatever, on whichever side that's going to be used politically, and it already is. I would say that this is the best thing that could possibly happen to DeSantis' campaign, since that's the only thing he's had to offer is that he was good on COVID, and by good I mean slightly better than the really bad ones. And so for him, I'm sure this is a win. And I think that people are weak enough that they will cave if the pressure is on. It just depends on how loud each political side is. The political side that's using it as their advantage to be against COVID versus the side that's using it to be for COVID. I don't know. It's kind of just wherever the politics go, I think, whether or not this gains any traction. And I think that that's mostly out of our hands, other than how we choose to deal with it ourselves. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, man. Like you said, we're entering like, the presidential season and stuff. Like that's still November of 24 is a long ways away. Like so much shit could happen. I can't believe they booked a president. I can't believe they got a mugshot of Trump. Like what's going on is really unprecedented, man. Like forget like who your favorite politician or like if you've been
not just Trump, his lawyers, his friends, like anybody who talked about this on the internet. Like they're going after Owen Schroyer now.
Bro, this is insane. Yes, like we can't forget that that's the paradigm. Like when people talk like, yo, this is what one political side is doing to another political side. You talk about election interference, man. These guys love their doublespeak. Like that. If that's not election interference, like what the fuck what are we having this discussion about? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think some of that does play into, again, not getting ahead of ourselves, but some of that does play into why I think the Barack Obama story is of importance. That's just a sneak peek of what's to come. Let's go and take a quick break. It's probably going to be a shorter episode today, which is fine because I said. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll talk about some microchips and Barack Obama's fetishes right after this. Today's episode is sponsored by Astero's Cybersecurity Services. These days, organizations of all sizes are targets for cyber criminals, disgruntled employees, or even nation-state attackers. Astero's performs cybersecurity services providing expert guidance to help organizations defend against threats and protect their data. Astero specializes in penetration testing, where they perform ethical hacking on networks, web apps, or organizations as a whole to simulate what an attacker would do and plug the discovered holes before anyone malicious finds and exploits them. Asteros also specializes in vulnerability management, security awareness training, phishing simulations, cloud security audits, compliance readiness assessments, and much more. As technology expands, it becomes easier and easier to run a business, but if your security is not growing along with your company, then you're going to run into problems. If you don't personally have a company of your own, definitely pass this information along to someone who does, because for a limited time, Asteros is offering companies an attack surface audit completely free. Let Asteros discover potential entry points to your network and how susceptible your company or organization is to cyber attacks. To learn more and to take advantage of this essential offer, just go to asteros.com/free. That's Asteros, ASTEROS.com/free. And we are back. Got a couple fake super chats we'll get to here before we get grosser. Hector Roos says, fake super chats. I also should have mentioned, if you would like to have your chat read, put it all caps fake super chats, because YouTube does not allow us to monetize things because they hate us and they hate you and they hate everybody who thinks for themselves. Like Hector Roos, I guess. Hector Roos says, fake super chat. Dan also did coke in the back of a limo with Barry. Now, when I said that Hector Roos is a free thinker, what I meant was he is a corporate shill and should not have ran against DeSantis, no matter how bad DeSantis is. Thank you, Hector, for the fake super chats. I appreciate it. Benzo Barbie says, what the fuck do you expect when you put a bunch of hippies in a centralized location? Ebola was the best case scenario. Yeah, that's very possible. That's very possible. Danielle says, fake super chat. Stuff on Maui is super shady. It reeks of conspiracy. Yes, we haven't talked about Maui. I haven't dug as much into that as I would like to, based on the little snippets that I've seen that are already shady enough. But, Dave, do you got any insight on Maui?
Here's a big picture real quick. The painting of everything blue, that's something to be looked at. That's kind of crazy. I know that's anybody
what's the
who's paying
theory
attention.
behind that? I've seen people say nothing shady going on here, but what are people alleging?
Yeah, that the whatever Jewish space lasers that they use to fucking torch that place are not effective against blue stuff. So people that had their houses or their roofs painted blue or their car was blue, unaffected.
If Jew paint blue. That's, I mean, it's true because it rhymes.
Hashtag that and, tag the ADL. But yeah, you got people like Jeff Bezos and The Rock and Oprah who own the properties surrounding like the rural places where the natives lived, which was fucking torched. All their shit's good. I know that she spent something chump change, like $6 million or something like that for, some brand new real estate. So Oprah's going to be doing just fine. And, and our boy Jeremy Kaufman got a retweet from Mike Cernovich, because I think Jeremy actually like discovered some shit. So like it got some traction on Fox. Go back on his Twitter and you can check that out.
What
he
was
might
it
have
pertaining to?
So it might have been the mayor of that area who was, like working with probably some shady corporations over like water rights and like how we must, we're going to be conserving some shit. And I think this guy might have been like one of the guys who decided not to give water to some areas that needed it. I don't have the full story on that, but Jeremy tweeted it, and like I said, it got that Cernovich retweet. So check that out. That's our people doing some big shit. But man, it looks crazy.
Similar to the Burning Man situation with FEMA locking people in, Maui seemed to have some shady goings on with people not being allowed to flee from a fire as well. And it seems like thousands and thousands. I don't know how many. Was it over? It was thousands,
I think thousands of people, died. And I think many of them were kids. And there's thousands of people missing. So, and not a whole lot of news, not a whole lot of calls for, Ukraine's getting a lot of cash. And I hate to sound like an America firster, but
who do you think got more FEMA help, Burning Man or Maui?
Good question. Excellent query.
Now, Ukraine or either of those things combined is
right.
a no-brainer.
Dwarf that.
Yeah. Shady stuff indeed, Danielle. Thank you for the fake super chat. Jordan Bemke says, shorter episodes are not fine. This is a nap violation. Thank you, nerd.
Truth.
Now, if you would like an extended episode, I'm not familiar with your name, which means you're probably not in the Downers Club, and you're not going to get the long episode that you seek and desire. But you could, for as little as...
Send Dan Smotz $5 so he can do some more coke in the back of somebody's limousine at somebody's Libertarian Party convention. Okay? Send 5 smackers.
That's right. Now we got to talk about. Now this one came across my feed, and I've heard of this website before. And I'm going to preface with, I cannot for the life of me figure out if this is or is not a satire website. I have tried. I've seen it referenced a million places. There's a lot of people speculating that it might be a parody website, but I can't figure it out, which troubles me even more than knowing that it's not. But this is the microchip thing that was going around. Anti-chippers are the latest group of awful people we now have to worry about, as if these troubling times haven't already encumbered us with enough challenges. Now, that sounds like satire, and a lot of their articles sound like satire. Like, they're the ones behind, like, drinking coffee is racist and stuff like that. Like, it's a lot of stuff that seems like satire. But are you familiar with afru.com, Dave? AFRU? No. Yeah, nope. Which... I mean, just the name sounds like it would be a satire site. There's nothing indicating that other than the lack of information that I can find on these people. Like, you go to How to Be an Ally, and it's the white girl guide to allyship. Girl, we need to talk. It's about basic human decency. I have received almost as many requests for advice on how to be a good ally to black folks as I know white folks in my daily life. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this is legit. But the fact that we can't tell is troubling. And I would suspect that within the next few years, if this is satire now, it won't be satire within the next couple of years. Because a lot of the buzzwords and everything are there for what would be in a normal mainstream media hit piece or just fluff piece for the establishment. Like the anti-Semitic origin of anti-chippers. When you examine the undercurrent of the anti-chipper movement, one horrid realization towers above all others. Anti-Semitism is festering at the root of this evil. Of course, not all anti-chippers are anti-Semites, but it does change the fact that they were engaging in a conspiracy theory propaganda by anti-Semites who fuel over... So blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you're into conspiracy theories, you're anti-Semite. That's what they're going with. I don't know. I've got
these
nothing.
Guys got to be. They're the next Babylon Bee, bro.
Yeah, they're good. They're good either way. Like, it's hilarious whether it's true or false. It's horrifying whether it's true or false. But yeah, I don't know. Just something that I felt like was share worthy. And somebody said, no, this is a parody site, bro. And then I was trying to look into it. I was even going and Googling, like, is thru.com a parody site? And everybody was like, I think maybe. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
So
They ride the line well.
So, I mean, I either have a lot of respect for them or I find them to be absolutely retarded. I'm not sure. It's somewhere. It's one extreme or the other.
Good.
Yes. So good on them. But anti-chippers, do you think that will be within the actual vernacular of society within the next few years, Dave?
Yeah, 2030, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the singularity is coming, bro. Fast. Things are moving faster and faster. You can feel it.
Yep, absolutely. Now, that might sound important to talk more on microchips and things of that nature. But have you heard that a former president of the United States is a gay? Did you hear that, Dave?
Bro, I heard that shit 20 years ago, but let's let this guy tell it.
All right. We're not going to dig too deeply into the full interview. I feel like, frankly, the trailer pretty well summed it up. Let's see.
Just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama...
That's not the obvious question, Tucker. I'm sorry. It is not the obvious question. Like, if you heard that this man had sex with Barack Obama and smoked crack with him, the first question is not, how was the crack? I mean, come on.
It's just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like, what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't his last.
The guy's running for president, and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
All right, so that came out, and people immediately took to the Twitters to call everybody who even watches this a kook conspiracy theorist, and obviously this is so not true. Who would ever believe that Barack Obama is gay? Are you buying it, Dave? Are you buying the idea that Barack Obama might be gay?
Yeah, I'm 100% sold that Barack Obama is gay. But I said 20 years earlier, it hasn't been that long. I mean, he's only been in the zeitgeist since 2004. But as soon as he started running for president, this guy came out and he did a testimony, like in public. He took a lie detector test. He was like somebody that was also having sex with Barack Obama in Chicago, who was involved with the Jeremiah Wright Church. Like, that guy ended up dead in 2007. This is like, so this isn't like just a salacious, like, oh, why do I care that he's gay? Like, I get that. In fact, somebody was like, that I can't remember, but it was somebody whose opinion I would care about. It was like, oh, well, you know, the Kavanaugh thing, like, we don't just entertain like ridiculous stories. It's like, wait a second. Only one or two or three of these women came out like at the very same, like one time, targeted against this guy who was like up for a nomination. That's one thing. Bathhouse Barry has been well known in the Chicago gay scene for like, you know, a long time. This guy's talking about a story that happened in the 90s, but like, yeah, it looks like that's his previous life. And if this is the conspiracy show, so like knowing everything that you know about propaganda as mastered by Edward Bernays, right? And everything that you know about what the deep state or whatever you want to call it would do to like manage the corporation. Everything that you know about the Epstein operation, using blackmail and using like dirt on people, everything that you know about the J. Edgar Hoover FBI using blackmail, himself being a gay man. Everything that you know that Doc Brown told you about how presidents have to be actors and how actors love drugs and gay sex. Like, doesn't this just make all the sense in the world that the Kennedy-esque portrayal of the black Christian family man is complete horseshit? Doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's my take on it.
Yeah. I mean, just look at him. Come on. But frankly,
also his gay lover just fucking ended up dead too in a pond, right across the street from his house. So
he was his cook or something.
Yeah, right. But,
something
his
like
special
that.
friend, special friend,
His special cook
chef.
friend. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what's fun? So. There's almost nothing here, and I really don't care who Barack Obama has had sex with. I mean, there's questions on Michelle Obama already. So would be. Did you see my poll about this?
I think that the big mic is the false flag or the red herring. They want you to think about that or talk about that because it's so ridiculous. And
the real question though is why Tucker Carlson would think that this old story is worth digging up right now. Why does this matter at all? It almost doesn't. Like, whether it's true or not, even if it's true, by mainstream standards, Barack Obama is out of the sphere of influence, supposedly. Barack Obama is whatever. He's gone on to do bigger and better things like Netflix series and such. Why do you think Tucker would bring this up right now?
Well, first of all, you guys should go back and watch a couple episodes ago I did where we talked about Tucker and his relationship with the agency and his father. Tucker just had on Viktor Orban on his show, like 1 or 2 episodes ago, who's the prime minister of Hungary, who Tucker's father currently is a lobbyist working on behalf of the United States, like through the Hungarian government. I'm just saying, like, this could all be just some serious wag the dog shit. They're all like, performers in a play, right? Like, Trump can play the hero and so can Tucker. But like, Tucker definitely had, like, if Tucker's father wasn't at the epicenter of Operation Mockingbird, it would be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that guy was so deep in propaganda from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It would be weird if he wasn't involved in that program. And then, your son is not much like Trump, is from a pedigree family, like a Bush, like a Clinton, like they're not like they're working class, like populist heroes, but they're like Princeton dudes. You know what I mean? It's just weird. So, not throwing any shade on Tucker. He's been saying all the right shit. So if it's a limited hangout, I'll hang out for a limited time while you say the cool shit. But I'm just saying, why right now is Tucker doing this? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe there's some warring factions within. I don't know. That could be.
I think the simplest explanation why he would bring up such like old news, I guess, is, I mean, it's old news, but it was definitely squashed and suppressed by the media back in the day because none of us really heard about this guy before now. At least I hadn't. He wasn't like if this guy had come out while Obama was senator or running for Senate or whatever, running for president, if he was allowed to come out, we'd be in a different situation right now. But it seems to me like this is Tucker Carlson finally being a conservative who's willing to play the game, who's willing to be like, well, we tried saying, Barack Obama, murdered U.S. citizens without trial, which he did, drone strike. We tried like getting him on war crimes and all sorts of things that actually fucking matter. And nobody cared. Like, same with Biden, same with whatever, everybody in this space. Like, it never matters when you're actually talking about the thing that matters. But Republicans are really bad at slinging mud, I think. They're really bad at getting dirty and being like, well, here's some bullshit. You guys like feeding off this rage stuff. So that's what it feels like to me. It's just, you guys have been doing this to Trump. I think that it's, I don't know. It's political theater. It's all just, I mean, at best, at the least terrifying, it's just political theater, but it's all playing the game of just, by any means necessary, take out your opponent, lambast them, dig up dirt, whatever you can. I think that this is Tucker feeling more freedom to just be like, well, we've got some shit on you. However the people take it. It's also funny because, like, this is something that shouldn't be, like, the people that he's attacking, the left, should be like, so, yeah, of course, Barack Obama's gay. But it also, like, there's that. If I were a leftist or like a gay person or whatever, if I found out that Michelle Obama was a man, or if I found out that Barack Obama was gay, I might have some questions as to, or found out that he smoked crack, I might have some questions as to why he locked people up for the things that he did, be it smoking crack, or I don't know if they locked people up for gayness or gay marriage, but they definitely didn't support it when he was going into the White House. So the hypocrisy of that, I think, is one thing. But I think most of the reason why Tucker is bringing this up is just because we're heading into an election season, and now it's time for everything that we can possibly pull out. And frankly, I'm here for it. I don't respect it that much. I don't respect the tactic of just digging up dirt on your opponents. But if your opponents are playing as dirty as they possibly can and locking up your candidate and trying to get him kicked off ballots, what do you do other than whatever you can to use their tactics against them? What do you think?
I agree with that premise, but what Tucker is doing, if Tucker is not part of the system, is dangerous. Like, doing what he did, there's no, if you and I put or Alex Jones even in 2013 talking about this shit, he probably had Larry Sinclair on his show probably multiple times, I imagine. At least he's talked about this stuff. But like, it never got that attention. But people talking about, like, the president of the ex-president of the United States knows this. He still gets Secret Service protection. He's an agency guy. Like, if anybody else said that, bro,
it's true.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're in on it, or if he's really, really brave, or he's protected.
Right.
I'll say that.
I don't know. Either way, it's fun. Like I said the
Yeah,
other day on Twitter,
absolutely.
I'm like,
oh man,
I don't always
absolutely.
pay attention to the news, but when I do, it's because, or I don't always like our timeline, but when I do, it's because it's fucking batshit crazy.
By the way,
in a
I
good
should
way.
say that I believe Larry Sinclair. I think I got a pretty good bullshit detector, and I don't think that guy's lying. So
Yeah.
that's one more reason. Do you think he is? Yeah, I do, because I don't think that guy's lying.
Especially in watching, which we'll get to in a minute. So Luke from We Are Change, Luke Radowski, and Clint Russell started a new show last night. I don't remember the actual name of the actual show, but I watched some of the uncensored after show. I think is a new fan. Sorry. Definitely a fan, though. They had Larry Sinclair on for their just casual chat, and it went some places, and I am inclined to believe him as well, especially if he is willing to go on that show and answer those questions from those degenerates. But, yeah, I have no reason not to believe him, especially since, let me see. This came out recently. Barack Obama's gay sex fantasy confession is revealed in unredacted letter to X. Quote, "I make love to men daily in the imagination," is what he said. So, yes, I would say that we could probably confirm that Barack Obama is gay. Now, why does, I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, oh, this is a distraction from Tucker to distract from something else, because I don't trust Tucker either. But I'm like, hey, let's have some fun. What would they be distracting from? I don't know. And I don't know. This whole thing just, if it's not just the simple explanation, if it is like, oh, he's controlled and he's doing this, which you're kind of alluding to, that he's part of the plot, probably along with Elon Musk, to garner false confidence in us, what would be the benefit of putting this out right now?
Yeah, dude, again, excellent query. I don't know, but I'm saying I bet that the agency has always known, I mean, his own staff. I'm saying I don't think that this is new knowledge. Like, I think that he's a gay guy, a gay man that Citigroup and other people from the military industrial complex crafted an image for, like Iron Man 3, the same motherfucker. Just, you can control a guy with, in that movie he had women around, but like whatever, you just like give JFK. I think they thought they could control him with chicks and drugs, and this is again, this is the Epstein shit. I don't know, but why is it coming out now? And why is like these letters and things? I'm just saying, I bet all these people always had this information, and it was always kept under lock and key. None of the Mockingbird media organizations would ever, print any of this. But now, through the Twitter thing and through Tucker, it's coming out.
In your theory, it is the Mockingbird media that's putting it out. If Tucker is just as controlled.
Yeah. I mean, I think that. I don't know. Like I don't even know if Trump, for the first time in my adult life, I always thought that presidents were selected. I still tend to believe that, but like, damn, they are going to some lengths.
Yeah.
But just like, here it is, the microcosm. Just like the Burning Man effigy you tear down, like I think that's what Trump is. Like Trump, even though he isn't free market capitalism, will represent that when they burn it down. So he's the perfect figure for that.
Yeah.
As you're ushering in your technocratic global corporatist thing, that's the effigy that they'll burn.
Yeah.
Trump, to install the new shit. So yeah, that's going to take a lot of players.
Yeah. And on the Trump thing, we touched on that briefly, but I don't know. Like there's still a part of me that's like, nothing will happen. Do you think something will happen? I mean, as this progresses, like Colorado's pushing to remove him from their ballot, and I mean, we've got the mugshot, and they're going after. Enrique Tarrio, who was like the Proud Boys leader or whatever, but wasn't even at January 6th. I don't think, just got 17 years, and they're going after Owen Schroyer for just talking about it on the internet and telling people not to go into the building. Meanwhile, famous Ray Epps, doing interviews where he's like, man, I just feel so bad that these misguided young whippersnappers ran into the Capitol when I told them not to. Like, it's just, like, my brain can't handle this much cognitive dissonance. Is that the word? Maybe that's not the phrase, but this much just fake reality that we're supposed to accept.
So many levels of fakeness.
You can't be this psychotic, can you? That's not possible. You're not going to arrest a former, some would say, sitting president of the United States.
But bro, we have to stop looking at these events like they're things that happen and then the government reacts to. It's like that's not the case for 9/11 or COVID-19 or January 6th or any of that shit, bro. They have the plan ready to go. They do the operation and then respond to their thing. So like, of course, in their quest to end a democratic republic, right, that has like systems and whatever, they need to tear down the old shit. So like, that's what they're doing right now by destroying the press, destroying, like just somebody's leave. Awesome.
Yes.
Like even the fake news shit, like we know, man, does the media fucking suck? But in our quest to like expose these bad actors, we might destroy the whole protection. You know what I mean? And that will be a shame. And that's again, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Though we have to talk about the most important part, the most crucial part of this. So before we get into the ridiculousness, I do have to say that I lean towards, even my conspiracy brain, I don't know, part of me just thinks that Tucker's kind of being a badass, and by badass I mean joining the mud with the Burning Man liberals who are just sloshing around in the mud. And part of me likes to see it, because if they attack Tucker, I don't necessarily trust Tucker, and if he's willing to take the slings and arrows to say some, I don't know, not even anything that's that crucial, I don't think. Who's shocked by the idea of Barack Obama being gay or smoking crack? I don't know.
A lot of people are shocked. And would just say that, that's totally unfounded, totally untrue.
Well,
and anybody who shares it.
And it's kind of the beautiful thing, like, about Tucker doing this, because now we have liberals who are like, he is not gay. How dare you? And it's like, wait, what? What's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with being gay?
Bro, this is a win for the LGBTQ plus community. If you can retcon the first black president into the first black
gay president with a trans wife, holy shit, man.
You got it made. You're good.
What are you guys so scared of?
Seriously.
And there is something beautiful to them having to either accept that Tucker Carlson, like, probably some of them would want that retcon, but they would have to accept that Tucker Carlson is correct, and that's dangerous. But if they deny it, then that seems very problematically homophobic in my mind, that they just really don't want Barack Obama to be gay. I don't know. Barack Obama can live his true self as much as he wants and be with whatever toothless man. You know, I saw some comments that were like, this dude's like a toothless crack addict, whatever.
25 years ago, he blew Obama, bro. We got to give this guy a break. All right.
True.
He
might not have been toothless at the time, or maybe it helps. Let's ask Obama. But he, you got it. But he said, hold on, my kids are texting me. So I saw some commenters that were like, well, what was it? Oh, this guy can't be trusted because he's like, they don't believe him because he's not a reputable source because of the way he looks and acts. And it's like, you guys are for like legalization of drugs, it seems, and you're also for gayness, it would very much seem. So I'm not sure what the issue is and why you think that disqualifies him or discredits him. And also, like, I don't know, the guy seems very coherent and very with it. And it's like, so you think that the crackhead gay guy, it isn't reputable when he says that he did gay crack things with somebody. Like, what do you like? Just because it's Obama or what? I don't know, but fun times.
And again, man, there's nothing in it for him to like be out there telling this story publicly. You know what I mean? As Tucker alluded to, you did not get rich. In fact, you lost some money.
Right.
Like, and it's dangerous, man.
Right.
To go out there and it's dangerous to do that shit. So everybody, I think, pause and reflect on why this is an important story and not the National Enquirer just, talking shit or, But Obama is not alone, man. Like, presidents do sick shit.
Bohemian Grove, man. Come on. Like,
yeah.
Even if he were gay, he would definitely not be the first gay president, according to who was it, Nixon, that was talking about Bohemian Grove?
Yeah.
The fraggiest damn place I ever saw.
Exactly. Yeah, you think look at George H.W. Bush. Take a look at his wife. If you see a dude with a wife like that, you know some shit is up.
She's pretty old, dude.
And by the way, Obama's kids, probably not his kids. I'm saying. And same shit for, because I've seen the pictures of their actual parents who were friendly with the Obamas. You guys should give that a Google and judge for yourself these pictures. But yeah, I'm totally on it wouldn't be unprecedented. I don't think that Chelsea Clinton is Bill Clinton's daughter. I think that's Webster Hubbell's daughter.
It could be any of his victims' daughter, really.
Well, I think Bill Clinton said that he said to one of his rape victims that he shoots blanks. So
yes, he said that to Juanita Broderick, who has been on this show back in the day when we did interviews with interesting people. Benzo Barbie in the chat says, fake super chat, when are you going to make Franz's campaign video? Well, I don't know. If he hires me, I will, and I'll make it the hottest OnlyFans exclusive campaign video that I've ever made for any very legitimate candidate running for president. What do you think, Dave? Should I make the X-rated Franz campaign ad? Fuck the system.
I'll say this. Look, this is interesting. How can we spend a second talking about this guy?
Maybe we should save it, because that's basically all we have for the.
I think then I will only say that you should always take money to put food in your kids' mouths. But but that's a really interesting one.
Man, I bet that's why he joined OnlyFans in 2020. But save it. We're saving it. Anyway, he doesn't have kids that he takes care of, let's be honest. Anyway, let's talk about something else.
You should make that video for that guy who sucks, even though he sucks, but you should make more. So
yes. We'll talk about him more later. And so that's what the after party is for now. I don't like getting into the libertarian drama. I like to stay out of the weeds. I work with different candidates, multiple presidential candidates, and I'm kind of like the middle man who they're entrusting with information. I tell them, like, just so you know, I'm working with your competitors too, but I'm here to just make you look better. I'm the shadow government and all that bullshit. But
it's a big responsibility.
So, like, if there was one candidate who was like, let's make a mudslinging video just attacking another candidate, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. It's not really my style to make campaign ads that are, dogging on the other candidates. That's more for my podcast, and it makes me much less money, but that's what we do in the after party sometimes. Anyway, we gotta talk about this Obama thing one more time, because as was mentioned on the new Clint Russell and Luke from We Are Change podcast that they have started. I don't know the specifics behind what their plans are with this show, but
that's so great, by the way. Awesome, man. Luke is an OG.
Yeah.
Clint is one of ours, and
he's
that
a new
is
G.
exciting.
Yes.
New G, yeah.
And yeah, they had Larry Sinclair on last night's episode, and I gotta say, for as fun as it was to watch the Tucker Carlson interview with Larry Sinclair, this is the type of journalism that America needs, not only needs, but deserves right now. This reporting on the Larry Sinclair story from Clint Russell and We Are Change.
A question here by the Raven Watch saying, ask him about the dick.
Okay. Am Raven Watch.
Can I guess before you tell us? Because I've been theorizing this with my Tower Gang buddies.
Why are you spending time? First of all, before we get in there, Clint, what are you doing with the Tower Gang guys theorizing the wiener of Barack Obama?
You don't think about the president's dick?
Listen, no,
ever?
I do not. I want to ask a more scientific, more of a professional question. And is that is there anything you could corroborate? Did he have a mole? Did he have like a birthmark anywhere? Is there anything that we could collaborate? And then we could hear about Clint's fantasies and rants about his dick that he talks about with his Tower Gang guys all the time.
What I said, and people actually attacked me and said, "Oh, you're full of shit. He's this. He had to be." I describe what. Okay, guys know what I'm talking about. Some women might not. You're either cut or you're uncut.
Sure.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think girls also know.
Sure.
Okay. In Barack's particular case, it is
both.
a situation to where it almost appears as if he's uncut because there's a little play, but not completely covered. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words,
this segment that we're going to share here is longer than I would normally share of any segment, but I assure you, it just brings me joy, and it will be worth it to you. Dave, any thoughts so far?
Just the timeline that we're blessed with is
Exactly.
just so great. Yeah.
As the creator of chaos, I just take so much joy from this. Just the fact that we live in the time where this is not only a conversation that we're having, but we're having it with the guy who allegedly sucked Barack Obama off, and it's our boy Clint Russell and our boy Luke, who, whether he wants to be our boy or not, our folks. Like we did a song with Clint Russell, and now he's in the position of asking Larry Sinclair about Barack Obama's penis, and in graphic detail, which, by the way, I probably should have mentioned at some point. If there are kids in the room, if the rest of this episode wasn't enough for you to be a good parent and remove them from the room, now's your chance. So make the right choice. Save
Bro,
the
you
children.
can play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon with the President Barack Obama right now, from Obama, Sinclair to Clint to you.
Right? That's right.
Didn't even take 6 degrees, bro. Very, very exciting times.
Oh man, it's a beautiful thing.
Alien dick.
Should we hold on? Should we all tell each other the predictions? I say 5-incher. That's me. Clint, we're gonna hear Clint.
My thesis has been it is lengthy but very narrow.
I say 5-incher. Stephanie.
I'm going to guess a shower, not a grower.
Well, he was in fact grown at that point. So was it impressive or no?
Well, he was doing crack. How does crack affect your dick? I don't know.
I think based off of your mom's house, it's 4 to 5 strokes.
Clint, listen, you don't want to get personal here.
I need to
Sorry,
ask.
that's a podcast, not your mom's house. Sorry.
I guess I need to ask for clarification then. In terms of lengthy.
Yes.
So, Dave, important question for you. Weigh in here. I already know the answer, so I won't weigh in. But how would you guess one would describe?
I mean, he's
former
a
President
guy,
Barack Obama's
so,
member.
Yeah, it's probably got a thin dick. That's probably
so?
what he's working with. I don't know, but
I mean,
this
based on some of his military actions, I would say that he's probably overcompensating for something.
Thin and
drone
wispy.
strike weddings and such. What?
Right.
Thin and wispy. Blows nicely in the breeze.
Yep.
Nice.
Like his wrists.
Mm-hmm. Let's find out.
What do you consider the baseline?
I would say average is 6.
Okay. I am going to do, and I know you guys are going to really get pissed at me for this.
Oh my God.
I am going to
don't you dare not tell me this.
Clint has been waiting for this.
This is all I want to know.
Clint has been waiting for this answer for a very long time.
Again, this is the level of journalism that we need and deserve at this point. Just
great.
Just keep going till he answers the question of how big Barack Obama's penis is, because that's all people care about.
I am going to do what I did when this question was asked at the National Press Club on June 18th of 2008.
Larry, don't do this to me.
Have any of you heard the term black man with a white boy's dick?
I have now.
Yes, I will. Yes.
For those of you who haven't, everybody assumes that a black man has this humongous, thick, long anaconda dong.
That is the racist stereotype.
Yo, Barack
extremely
Obama is
discriminatory
half
and
white.
extremely unfair.
Right?
You know what? It may be, but
It's the bottom half.
I'm just pointing out something that a lot of people. I don't give a shit who you are. If you sit there and tell me that you've never said that or thought that when you're referring to a black dick, then you're full of shit. Why do you think you say BBC?
Yep, you're a liar.
Big black
We all
cock.
think about it all the time.
So what I said at the press club is a black man with a white boy's dick, meaning pretty close to what you were saying.
All right. 6 and narrow.
Pencil dick.
Pencil dick.
Yeah, there we go.
I nailed it.
There.
Obama, pencil, dick. Blowbama.
Who said
Barack.
Blowbama?
For his
Barack.
physique. For his
Pencil,
physique.
dick, Blowbama. We're calling it.
This
I'm tweeting
is the
that.
greatest moment in
Hold on, not
podcast
yet.
history.
Oh, I'm tweeting this right now.
And I know people are listening to this and they're going, how can we take you seriously? I got news for you. I have answered just about every damn thing you people have ever asked, and
doesn't
it's
give a
still
fuck.
not enough.
Yep.
I mean, just look at your damn comments over the last 24 hours on my Twitter feed.
I am so proud of you right now.
No matter what I say to some of you, you're never going to be satisfied. So
well, with the size of that dick, how am I supposed to be satisfied, Larry?
Well, trust me, it wasn't.
This show is
necessarily
going to be good because Clint is on it. This is exciting.
And it has the Tower Gang questions that can be asked, but also not the Tower Gang baggage that comes along with that of every question must be about dicks. So,
and
certain avenues for certain types of people, and this is good space for Clint too.
Yes, and I think like this rides the line. Like this is kind of salacious and just like, talking about stuff, but like this is crazy that this is the guest
right
on this issue.
Right.
That is I'm very grateful that this is happening. Yeah, I hope they do more of these, and this is great.
And I will say I've watched the majority of the episode, and most of it is, I mean, I never for once felt like he was lying, and I have a pretty good radar on when I feel like people are lying or they feel like, or they have something to gain. This guy clearly doesn't have much to gain. He might be being used as a pawn by different people, but he's like, I don't really care. I'm just being honest. And if the truth is uncomfortable for you, that's for you to figure out. But this is what happened, and this is my story, not just Barack Obama's story. This is something that happened to me, and it's not like he's ashamed of it. He's not saying that he was raped by Obama or anything. He's just saying, I'm a gay dude and I own this. Dude's got a small dick. Wasn't really a mouthful, but this happened. And if you don't like that, kick rocks. And
and please don't murder me. My story is out there, so please don't.
Even that, they ask him at one point, do you feel like you're in danger of any kind? And I mean, he didn't say emphatically no or yes, but he was like, yeah, I don't think they will, because it'll just lend credence to my story and everything. I was like, I don't know. For me, I'm like, I don't know.
Definitely now.
I don't know if I buy that. I mean, it would lend credence to it, but I don't know that I buy that would make any difference in their decision-making process, whether or not killing him lends credence to his story. I think it's just based on how detrimental they think it is versus, how much they care about people knowing.
It'd be tough to do it now that they did that Tucker interview. If you did it after that would look real bad.
That's true. So yeah, him coming out about it now is probably the safest thing for him in some ways, because
I believe him, bro. I'm telling you, he doesn't seem like he has any rehearsed shit. That's just the way that his life is. That's what he,
So Dave, why?
Wow.
All in all, why do you think this matters? Just in like, if you were sat down at dinner with Barack Hussein Obama himself, and he said to you, Dave, just want to tell you something.
That was good. Good.
I know you've heard before, but Dave, I am a gay man, and I smoked crack off of Larry Sinclair's penis, and I just wanted you to know, you seem like a trustworthy dude.
Bro, fantastic. I did not know that you had an Obama impression that was that good.
Who knew? I had it.
Please bring that out more. Please bring it out more.
Dave, like, what would you say to Obama? Like, just for like, clearly none of us care if somebody's gay. We're not judging this dude for being gay.
It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. That's just.
I think like this guy, just the way he handles himself, he's like, I don't beat around the bush about anything. It gets graphic, it gets vulgar, because he's explaining what happens and things that he's done with other politicians and stuff. He's just like, this is me. This is what it is. Why do you think it matters that Barack Obama is hiding this? Or what would you ask him, I suppose, or say to him why this matters?
So, I don't know, man. I guess I'll try and big picture it. I think that a common theme right now is that shit's coming out. Like, and Tucker seems to be at the epicenter of a lot of it, right? Like, he just was straight up going on Fox News going, the CIA definitely killed John F. Kennedy. This guy, here's the proof, blah, blah, blah. This is like, I know like everybody knows that the government like killed Kennedy, kind of like we all just knew it since then. But like, that's just been in the backdrop. Yeah. But like, it is different to say that shit on Fox or to say what you just said about Larry Sinclair on Twitter to 70 million people. So, I mean, Ron Paul's next book that he's getting ready to drop is about the coup that the literal coup, the fascist
gay
coup.
Obama. It's about gay Obama.
That would be probably ends on that note, ties it all together.
Yeah.
But no, I mean like, bro, ever since Kennedy was taken out by our own government, like everything has just been theater.
Yeah.
As the fascists run something else, like they give you an old program, like the idea that democracy or like voting would ever change anything in their system. Like we're literally living in two separate worlds, and one is where you just play and you think that you're like a thing that has thoughts of your own. Like you don't have thoughts of your own.
Right.
Read Bernays, read propaganda. Every single fucking thought in your head was put there. Public opinion is the only thing that matters, whether you live in a fascist dictatorship or a flourishing democracy. It only depends on what all the people think. So that's why man, it doesn't matter. Like of course, every talking head is going to be owned because they can't have, the guy out there, like in the network, delivering the truth. They will call you up to the office and give you the business.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
Dave.
who's part of that.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. I appreciate your input.
Yeah, so I'd like that. But he's being exposed. Maybe some other things are being exposed, but he's not unique. I guess that's what I would say to Barack Obama. Yo, bro,
it matters because
your truth is coming out now. Yeah, you're all full of shit. You're all military-industrial complex puppets to manage the corporation while the fucking evildoers do their shit.
Right.
And we're just, we're exposing that at the moment. And you're the first, guy to fall. And sorry about that, but is what it is.
Matters because it's just another flagrant lie of the reality that they would have us believe, and why they would have us believe that Barack Obama is a very straight man with a very feminine, beautiful wife. I don't know what their reasoning is, but the mask has slipped, and guess what? Barack Obama's gay. He's been lying about it the whole time. It's just another thing.
We'll get past this.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's full of shit. That's my deep thought of the day. Everybody's full of shit. And if Barack Obama was gay from the start and was honest about it, I wouldn't care. But the fact that he still denies it when it has been proven definitively that he has what was the phrase that he
chef friends.
No,
chef friends.
That he makes love to men daily in his imagination. Okay, bro, that's your thing, but just stop fucking lying about everything. And it's just one more thing to add on to the pile of fake nonsense. And I do like that it's coming from a different source. We're getting fake news from all angles now, or not fake news, but just trumped up bullshit. And I'm here for the system burning itself down if it has to. This is kind of cannibalism in my mind. This is a guy who comes from the mainstream media who, whether he is still controlled or not, got burned by the mainstream media in some ways, and fired from his job, and then now he's doing this, like stirring up shit, causing chaos. I shouldn't enjoy it, but I do. It's a guilty pleasure.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Only because I don't want things to get worse. I mean, they're getting worse on their own. They don't need help. But I don't know. There's something about spicing up the timeline with something that's so wholesome as Barack Obama having a gay lover in the past. Like, that is good news. That is good news to hear in today's day and age. Because I am an ally of Barack Obama in this issue alone. Good for you, Barack Obama. I wish that you would come out of the closet. I wish that you would be honest with your true self and own it. And
And to Michelle, don't think about leaving, because then if they ever bring you two in court, if you're divorced, you're fucked. You got to stay married like the Clintons.
That's right.
Protect each other.
That's right.
You're a unit. You're in this forever. So.
Absolutely. And even more importantly, the bigger news than Barack Obama being gay that came out yesterday is Clint Russell and Luke Radowski's new show. So go check that out because it seems like they're onto something good there, and I look forward to seeing what they do. So check them out.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just on the We Are Change Rumble at the moment, and it's completely uncensored. Doesn't even seem like they're going for YouTube. So good on them. We need more of that, and we need more fun. Journalism. It is journalism what they're doing, as absurd as that sounds. Asking this man what Barack Obama's dick tastes like, that is journalism in today's day and age, and good.
Doing it.
Good. All right. Speaking of gross things, let's talk about a libertarian presidential candidate, Chris Franz. Franzak, he just announced, and we're going to save that all for the after party because blue balls is what we do around here unless you pay us to relieve you. Dave, this has been fun and very enlightening, very important conversation that we've had today. Any final thoughts, any recaps or anything that you think that people should know, or anything you want to promote, or anything? Anything, Dave? Go ahead. I'll stop cutting off. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I love that, you came back and you did a show. And definitely grateful to be here.
That's all we can say about it. It was a show.
No. You know what? This, like I'm saying, I'm surprised by the response of good people that I respect, not paying this story the mind that it deserves. Because they're probably just thinking surface level shit. But again, if you haven't read Propaganda by Edward Bernays and you don't know about the fucking deep state shit and how that they operate, then yeah, maybe this would just seem like some salacious shit. But it's not.
It is in some ways, and I'm fine with that because it was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. But it's important, I think. You know what I mean? This information's out there, and this poor guy has, been fucking probably living with this in somewhat of fear for the past 15 or 20, You're
talking about Obama?
No, I'm talking about Larry Sinclair for, he has to be the guy that, like I said, dude, somebody called him on the phone and was like, oh, you were fucking Obama? Me too. And the guy who called him ended up dead like
a
week or so. Like, that's fucking crazy. So that's what he's been keeping in the back of his head the whole time. So anyway, props to that guy. And yeah, thanks for going on Clinton and Luke's show. And I did want to say that Berkey water filters, if you guys are familiar with that company, you should be, because they make great gravity-based charcoal water filters that take fluoride and PFOAs out of your water and other toxic chemicals that the EPA is cool with. That filters it out, and they're relatively cheap and good. However, the Environmental Protection Agency wants to classify what they're doing as a pesticide somehow so that they can regulate, probably out of existence, this very cheap way for you to filter your shitty water. So yeah, they're suing the EPA, try to counter this. So go to their Facebook. I think they did a thing on it. I tweeted it and Spike retweeted it, and so did Being Libertarian. But this is one of those things that, it's good to have in your house. And man, if we can't have, if the government needs you to have shitty water and will prevent you from cleaning it yourself, like, fuck.
Without the fluoride, your teeth will fall out and you'll look like Larry Sinclair.
You need that, and you need the PFOAs that DuPont makes. Bro, those factories are right around, all around Delaware. So like, that shit, those forever chemicals, bad news bears. So yeah, look into Berkey water filters and help them out. Share that link if you can. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, Dave versus Goliath 1. That'd be great.
There you go. There you go. All right, and you can find me at thesystemsdown.tv or wherever the System is Downs are sold, at TSIDpod on Twitter and all that fun stuff. Go check it out. But this has been a good day. It's a beautiful overcast day outside. A good day for a nice breezy podcast here while people mow in the distance. And thank you all for being here for the party. We will keep the party going, talking about the latest challenger to enter the Libertarian presidential race, Chris Franzak, here in a moment. And I will say here publicly, Chris, you are welcome to come on the show, and we will have this conversation. And yeah, we will be nice about it for the most part. No, I take that back. We won't be nice about it. We'll be honest about it, and we'll give you a fair shake and ask you friendly questions and make jokes about your, activities, what kept you busy during COVID and all that. But yeah, come on the show, and don't be a coward, and let's have a good chat. To all of you, let's head on over to patreon.com/thesystemsdown and join the Downers Club, support whatever this is and whatever it's going to be, and talk about some spicier content. Dave, thanks for being here. And
thank you, man.
I'll find my outro momentarily. All of you in the chats, I don't think we had any final super chats or whatever. Thank you all for being in the chats. Thank you for hanging out. I know it was kind of short notice, and it was on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday, not even the normal time. But you are here. Thank you for being here. Let's keep going. Question everything. Stay uncomfortable. Be bad. Have fun. Let's be degenerates. Bye.
Welcome to the system. Everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white. I hate you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.